Hello everyone, this is your Diet Doctora, Dr. Josephine Grace Chua Rojo, and what you can see here is a view from the building where I'm staying. I'm on the 9th floor, and the view that you can see is the Capital Lagoon, where we have our provincial capital for Negros Occidental. It's the 0 kilometer or kilometer zero of our island, specifically for the occidental side, because Negros is an island in the Philippines, the one that's shaped like a shoe, and then it's divided into two: Negros Occidental and Oriental. With Occidental, we have Bacolod City as its capital city, and that is the center of it all, the kilometer zero. What you can see is already towards sundown. It may not that visible, but you can appreciate the reflection of the lights over there. It's a lagoon where there's a lot of fishes, mostly tilapia, and they are being taken care of. Behind is a mall, and right behind the mall is actually already an ocean in between the Negros Island and Panay Island. Behind there, we cannot see the horizon, but we can see a very beautiful light color of sunset in Panay Island. So we are already going towards sundown. It's my favorite time of the day. Bacolod, for those who haven't been here, is also known as the City of Smile, and Negros in general is like the sugar capital or the sugar bowl of the country. This is where the largest sugar milling central is located. There's a couple of big sugar milling companies here in Negros, and we provide majority of the export quality sugar for the country. We all grew up having sugar everywhere, the best kind. Unfortunately, it also has its own drawbacks. My family personally has a long history of diabetes. All almost died of diabetes related complications. And I myself, in my 20s, and also my siblings were already pre-diabetic. But that changed when we started doing low carb nutrition and at the same time fasting. With low carb nutrition, we remove first the simple sugars, all the brown, white sugar, even honey, even maple syrup, even the wild honey, because those are still sugar in a way, because it's made up of fructose and glucose. And table sugar is basically fructose and glucose. And eventually, we learned that it's not enough. And then we have to go further if we really want to heal, if we really want to improve. And what we needed to do became clearer, that what we need to avoid isn't just the sweets, but also the carbohydrates that may not seem sweet in our taste buds. But the moment it is processed in our digestive organs, it becomes the same thing that sugar becomes once in our blood. And it is glucose. And what are those foods? Primarily, as Filipinos, the number one food that rises our blood sugar is our staple food, which is rice. Did you know that per cup of rice is already equivalent to 11 to 12 teaspoons of sugar? That is an equivalent, wherein it has its calorie equivalent the moment it is processed in our stomach and eventually in our liver. So per cup of rice, we'll have a net carbohydrates. After we remove the fiber in it, what you will be having will be about 40 to 44 grams of net carbohydrates or starch that are easily converted into glucose. 1 teaspoon of sugar will also have an equivalent of 4 grams of simple sugar or glucose. And so a cup of rice will give you 10 to 11, even up to 12 teaspoons of sugar equivalent. Now, we all thought that eating rice without desserts is already healthy. And yes, somewhat that is true. But what is even healthier, if you really want to heal, is actually to remove those starch and those other bland carbohydrates that turns to sugar the moment they goes inside our system. You might worry what will happen if we don't eat those carbohydrates anymore. And honestly, you do not have to worry because carbohydrates is considered non-essential. And what do we mean when we say it is non-essential? It simply means we do not need to take it from external sources, but because we have the capacity to create our own glucose from other sources. It doesn't need to come from carbohydrates even. It can come from proteins, it can come from triglyceride backbone, and through the process of gluconeogenesis, our body can simply create it. So that's just a simple, short knowledge as to why we want to avoid sugar and carbohydrates, because avoiding those will lead to our healing from the illness that is brought about by these elevation of blood sugar and subsequent elevation of insulin as well. It's about nighttime, so this is the view from here. What's the main street in Bacolod is Lacson Street, and that's what you can see. It's quite peaceful and simple living, and we try to maximize the simple life that we have here by choosing to be healthy. We hope you choose the same. Stay low carb, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you here or some other place on earth. Thank you.